name is Boes, and I'm a process engineer at Coventro. And my job is a mix of desk work and being out in the plant. So part of what I do is improving our processes, and that might mean making better quality products, reducing the cost for us to make it, or maybe improving the safety of the people who work for us while we make it.
So Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about how your education path and how you actually got maybe to Coventro at that point?
Yeah, so I went to Purdue University, and I decided to go into materials engineering because when I was in college, I was really interested in chemistry. And when I went to high school, I was really interested in chemistry. And then when I was at Purdue, I learned that materials engineering was the engineering path that had the most chemistry in it. So I was excited to learn more about that. I was a co-op in college, so that means I interned every other semester. So I worked for GE Aviation for a while. I did 4 rotations with them as mostly metallurgy roles. So I did a lot of work with microscopes and saws and welding.
So when you say like you were interested in chemistry and you're thinking about that blend of chemical engineering, what led you that way? Even thinking even further back down through before college and into high school or before that, what made chemistry so exciting? I love chemistry, but sometimes the word chemistry kind of makes people think it's maybe a little bit difficult of a study course, and so what kind of got you there?
Yeah, well, luckily I had a really good teacher, and chemistry, there's a lot of rules to learn when you first start, and I enjoyed learning a subject where there are where everything seems to kind of make sense. Also, one of the cool things we learned about was polymers, which is what I work with now. And it's basically one unit of chemistry repeated over and over to make a longer molecule. And our teacher was telling us about how Teflon is a polymer, and she was showing us the chemical reaction used to make Teflon and how it's used on like baking pans and cookware. And so I thought it was really cool that something that seemed as abstract as chemistry, with these molecules that you can't actually see, could be used in our everyday lives.
That's a really great example too, because whether or not they know it, everybody watching has probably played or used a polymer sometime in their life, right? So we all use chemistry. Chemistry really is everywhere around us all the time. And one of the things that we like to do sometimes with our youth programs is have them think about what they use and, the things that they make or that they play with, or, even in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really approachable, and it can be a lot of fun. So where did you get chemistry to, that connection of chemistry to the engineering, engineering applied science, and how you ended up, thinking about process engineering specifically?
Yeah, I actually had no idea what I wanted to do going into college.
Perfect, that's what we love.
I wanted to go in undecided, but I was told by several people that it's better to go in with a major because you can always switch out, but at least you won't, like if you go into engineering, usually if you don't start in engineering your first year, it'll take you an extra year to graduate because you have to take these first year engineering courses. And also I was told that it was more likely to get scholarships if I chose a college to go into, not just, and by that I don't mean university, but like the College of Engineering or the College of Liberal Arts. So I had no idea what to do. So my teacher told me that. She was like, hey, you like math and science? Might as well do engineering. You can always switch out. So that's what I did. And then when I got there, I enjoyed it, luckily. And I thought materials engineering was cool because there was it was a mixture of physics and chemistry. And I like both, but I don't like either of them enough to like just do physics or just do chemistry. And everything is very applied. So it's cool because one of my friends, we were sitting at dinner and he was like so why is my cup clear? And I was like, oh boy, I can tell you. It's because the molecules are, they're not crystalline, they're amorphous. So.
Gotta love those opportunities to apply your knowledge, right?
Yes.
So I love the little tidbit of info that you just shared with us, that you didn't know what you wanted to do, where you wanted to go necessarily when you went to school, but some advice that you got early on that maybe helped you at least recognize opportunities that wouldn't be available to you if you kind of stayed that nebulous path. Is there other opportunities that you took advantage of or that you were made aware of through mentors or internships or things like that really left that tangible mark on your path?
Yeah, co-oping was a big part of my college career, and I don't remember, I know I learned about it in high school, I think because I'm from Columbus and I know at the University of Cincinnati you have to co-op, so I'm guessing they came and talked to us about it. But I needed the money in college to pay rent and buy food and all that good stuff. So I knew going in that that's what I wanted to do. And then my advisors and professors in college were very pro co-oping. They emphasized that it was a really good opportunity for me to get experience. And it turned out it was, because I got great career advice and great professional development, and went from not having a clue how to be an adult in a regular job, in a 9-to-5 job, to being able to, hold my own by the time I got out of college.
So that's a lot of great experiences you had, not so much, they weren't bumps in the road, right? So are there bumps that you could talk about or challenges you faced in your studies to get to where you are?
Yeah, definitely. Part of it, I think almost everyone experiences this, both in high school and in college, but being part of groups that do not help you at all when you're doing all the work. And that can result in some late nights. So I definitely, I don't think I prioritized my health as much as I should have when I was in college. And now I realize that I should have been a little more, I don't want to say aggressive, but assertive in stating that I needed other people to do specific parts of the project so that, I could go home and sleep. So, but I also learned a lot about dealing with people through that. So some people are really good at running with whatever you're doing and figuring out ways to make it better, and other people need really specific instructions. So sometimes you have to say, break down the project and say, okay, there's the introduction of this report. You need to write the introduction, and then if you send that to me, I can review it, and we can all put our parts together. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of learning experiences that you don't think about how they impact what you will ultimately be doing in a workplace, no matter where you work. But there's a lot more to college than just learning the chemistry content, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about you here at Coventro. You're a process engineer, and we learned a little bit about what that is. What does it mean here at Coventro? What is it that you do on a day-to-day?
Yeah, day-to-day. Sometimes it means there's a feeder something's not working the way it should be, and we're not sure why. So we're looking at we have systems that can track, what our equipment is doing. So we're looking at that to see if we can figure out why this problem occurred. And sometimes I can do that at my desk, sitting at the computer, but sometimes you need to go down and talk to the operators or look at the equipment and see if you can get any more insight into why it's not working. But also we have improvement projects, so I may look at data for how we've been doing so far, maybe on quality or the rate at which we run our lines, and then I'll see if maybe we can change something and improve it. So when we implement it, I'll track that data again to see if it got any better. So a lot of my day is talking to other people about problems that we're having, about projects that we're working on, and then sometimes it's putting all that information together if I'm the leader, or sometimes it's me finding the information myself.
So what do you think one of your favorite parts of what you do is? What makes you like excited about your job? And you can see you're smiling when you're happy with where you are and how you're applying your knowledge and experience. What's that favorite part?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier the Teflon hat. I thought it was really cool that it was applied to real life. And my favorite part, I think, is seeing products that we've made. So we don't make consumer products, but we'll sell plastic to someone who does. And so I can look at an iPhone and say like, oh, my material is in that. Or I was working on a project for low friction materials. So sometimes I can look at an injection device and say, oh, look, my material is in that. I helped make that. So that's really cool.
Oh, that is cool.
So a lot of what we make goes into the automotive market as well as a few other markets. But you see here we have some headlights from cars. So we make the part that's the lens of the headlight that goes in front of it. So one of our focuses for some of our products is making really transparent and high quality plastic so that it can be used for these headlights, because you don't want a headlight that has black spots in it, and you especially don't want a headlight that's going to break when a rock hits it. So that's one of the things about our material, polycarbonate, is that it's really good at impact resistance. We also have some materials here that are part of hubcaps or other parts of the car, and it's cool because when you look at it, it looks like it's metal, but it's actually plastic. And sometimes they will coat it with metal to make it look like the whole thing is metal. We also work with some more fun products too. So our material goes into some paintball guns. So it's the outer part that you would hold. We also mold some piggy banks. No one sells those, but it's fun for us to have, and it's fun to give to kids when they come visit. We make a lot of things for electronics too, like fire alarms, the housing for it, and the housing for smoke alarms too. And then we no longer make food grade polycarbonate, but it used to be used for things like cups and pitchers. Polycarbonate is also the material that's in your lenses if you wear glasses. And even if you don't wear glasses but you're doing a science experiment, you may be wearing safety glasses, so that's also polycarbonate. That's what we have down here. And then up here we have some sporting equipment. So Coventro actually has a partner with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they are working on making, I don't know what they're called, the side panels. They're working on making the side panels more absorbent of impacts so that the players get fewer concussions. That's the goal. And they were also working on helmet development, because we have several materials. We produce polycarbonate here, but we also make the precursors to foam. So that means it's the chemicals, the raw materials that go into foam. And it's hard to see over here, but one of the cool things about lighting is not only do we have the lenses, but we also can make the part of the lamp that's usually metal, because it's thermally conductive. So you can use it. You can make a light that's fully polycarbonate.
So our last question today is there any advice that you would give to a young woman, a young girl who's interested in chemistry, engineering, some combination of those, that are thinking about pursuing education career paths? Things that you've learned or that you wish you had known when you were younger?
Yeah, I have two pieces of advice. So when I was in high school, my mom really helped me, because I went to, we had to we had to present on projects we had worked on in high school, and someone in my class had presented a project that was related to material science, which is what I was thinking about going into. And his presentation was 4 times as long as it was supposed to be, and so boring. And I went home and I was almost crying because I was like, I can't do this, I can't go into that field, this was a mistake. And I had already signed up for engineering at Purdue. I was panicking, and my mom calmed me down and she said, you know, there's a lot of things you can do in engineering or in, you know, the STEM fields, and just because you didn't like this one thing doesn't mean you're gonna dislike everything. And she was absolutely right. I've had a couple of those kind of panic moments since, when I was in college, where I was doing something or learning about something that I was just completely not interested in. But here I am at Coventro working with polymers. So there was a lot out there that I was interested in. So my advice would be to, if something in STEM sounds not interesting to you, don't write off the profession as a whole. See if there's something else that you might be interested in instead, because there probably is. And then also, I would advise you to take any opportunity that you think is cool, even if you think that it's maybe not what you saw yourself doing, or if you're not sure about how it's going to work out, because in the end, you're gonna excel at things that you're really excited about.
Great advice. Thank you for sharing not only what you learned along the way, but also kind of how you got here, and hopefully we'll get to inspire, you know, the next generation of process engineers, folks interested in engineering or chemistry. Maybe one day we'll see them here. Thank you.